So many years ago, I guess close to 30 years ago, I hired my very first assistant, trading assistant. And I'm not going to mention his name, but a gentleman by the name of Mark. And I wasn't even that successful yet. I had not achieved these returns that people read about in Market Wizards. I wasn't in Market Wizards yet. And I hadn't even achieved really big success in the market. I was doing well, and I had a few really good years, but I did not have that track record that was really proven. And Mark and I would every now and then have these little battles, or if you will, we would tell each other how successful we were going to be. And he said, it's his goal to be better than me. I said, great, that's wonderful. I hope you are better than me. I'll give you my money to manage. But so one day we were in the car driving, and I said to him, I'm literally 100% confident that I'm going to be a multimillionaire, and I'm going to be one of the best traders in the world. I really have 100% certainty of that, because I'm not going to stop until I get there. So I reached in my pocket, and I think I had about $400 in my pocket. And at the time, it was actually a lot of money, and certainly a lot of money to me. I was not rich by any means. I took the money, I balled it up in my hand, and I threw it out the window. He looked at me and he said, "What the heck did you just do?" He said, "Did you just throw all that money out the window?" I said, "Yeah, I just threw all my pocket money out the window." And I said, "How much money is in your pocket?" He says, "Why?" I said, "How much do you have in your pocket?" He says, "I don't know, about $200. I said, "Throw it out the window." He said, "No, I'm not going to throw it out the window." I said, "Why not?" He said, "Why would I do that?" I said, "Because you're going to be a multimillionaire. You're going to be a huge success. You're going to be one of the greatest traders in the world. You're going to be better than me. So a few $100 doesn't mean anything in the grand scheme of things. Let's make a declaration right now that we're going to be rich, and let's seal that with ceremoniously tossing our pocket money out the window, because it's going to be just that, pocket change in the long run." He said, "Absolutely not. That's crazy. I'm not doing it." Anyway, I said, "Okay, well, I don't believe you're that committed. I'm committed, and I've made that decision." And that was the end of it. Anyway, long story short, Mark didn't last very long with me. Matter of fact, he didn't last very long being a stock trader. He did go on to be a stock broker for many years. Never turned out to be very wealthy. And about a few years back, which was maybe 25 years after this incident, Mark came to see me at my home. He came with his children, and came for vacation, and stayed with me for about a week. And when he saw me, he gave me a hug, and he said, I'm proud of you, and I'm really amazed of what you've accomplished, and it's great, and it's wonderful, and you said you were going to do this decades ago, and everything you said you did. And he says, "The one thing though, I should have threw that money out the window." And that was basically him saying, he realizes that he was thinking small, and he wasn't really committed, and he didn't have the confidence that he thought he had. Anyway, that's how we led up to this challenge, or this this thing that I've been talking about on Twitter for the past few days, of throwing a $100 bill out the window. It's not about wasting money. It's not about being disrespectful. You can be charitable, and you can do this. It doesn't have to take away from your charitable donations. It's not a zero-sum game, that if I throw 100 out the window, or 1,000, or 10,000, that has to be out of the money that I would have given to charity. I'm not going to give all my money to charity. Okay, so it's not a zero-sum game. I would suggest that you do both. This is very small, first of all. Charity should be bigger than $100, certainly over time. This is just $100 bill, but it's funny how so many people are unwilling to do it. And if you're going to be rich, if you're going to be a great trader, this is just a way to seal it in your mind. But if you don't do it, one of the reasons why you won't do it, for some people at least, is that it's a commitment. You're making really a commitment and a pact with yourself that you're going to achieve a goal, and that's sort of scary to a lot of people. Tony Robbins always said you should tell all your friends, tell the world of the goal that you're going to achieve and put it out there. So now you have to deliver. But most people don't do that. They keep it to themselves, and if they don't hit their marks, they're not embarrassed. We're constantly protecting ourselves from embarrassment, ridicule, failure. Anyway, I've now come to a point where the money that I've, of course, doesn't mean anything to me, but I want to make one very important point is, when I did this originally, I had very little money to my name. And I believe that thinking is one of the reasons I became rich. Not the other way around where I'm rich so I can throw money out the window. Okay? This is the type of thinking bigger than your circumstances. And realizing that there's so much more than what you currently have. And detaching from the money, the results, and putting your focus on process. Even those of you that understand it may not do it. But I assure you that when you look back at that moment, even if you were apprehensive and felt like it was a big thing, you'll look back a week, a month, a year later, and you'll realize how small it was, and how you've got how money can make you myopic. And if you think that you're going to be able to take a $5 or a $10 or a $20,000 loss with your trading portfolio, a multi-million-dollar trading portfolio, and stop yourself out of trades, if you can't throw $100 out the window, you're going to have a very difficult time trading a big account and sticking to discipline. And that's really the bottom line. This is about discipline, and it's also about your perception. Can you alter your perception and create the meaning that you want by throwing this $100 bill out the window? Create a meaning around it. Control your perception. This is an exercise in empowerment and self-control, and in controlling and defining what that moment means to you, what that commitment means to you, and then using it as a source of energy, a source of motivation. I can go on and on about this, but this is just something off the top of my head, just talking into my phone and trying to explain the origins and the reasoning behind this tossing of the $100 bill. Goodbye.